I'm Cody Landels. In less than 4 years, I built and scaled a roofing company from the ground up to over $20 million in annual revenue, and then successfully sold it. Now I'm on a mission to share what I've learned while documenting my journey to scale Reimagine Roofing to $100 million in annual revenue. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to scale a service business or a sales rep ready to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
All right, cool. Let's jump into it. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is YouTube playlists. So I actually showed these to Adam yesterday, and he got super pumped with it. He's going to start using it for his own business within RSRA. But it is the single most underutilized tool right now in YouTube. And essentially what this is you can create a curated playlist that then you send that playlist over to the homeowner, and it creates basically an experience for them that you are guiding. And so I'll send one over now that we utilize for our tile roof. And I'll show you kind of how we utilize this. Oh, hold on. 1 second. And how you guys can utilize it, even if you don't have any YouTube videos yourself. All right, so here's the playlist. I'll drop it in the chat, and then we'll kind of look at. So we have different playlists for each type of customer, both on their the roof type, as well as whether they're retail, insurance, or commercial. And so what we do with our playlist is it's a series of things. If this playlist is designed for a customer that is 100% sure that they need to replace their underlayment, for a tile roof, all you typically do is change out the underlayment. And most people in Arizona and New Mexico, they know, hey, at 20 years I shouldn't change out my underlayment. So they don't need any convincing that their roof is old. Now, if it's a storm damaged roof, let's say maybe it's hail or wind, and you think that the homeowner is not 100% certain that their roof is even damaged, then the first video in your playlist would be a video that says, here's what a damaged roof looks like, or here's what hail does to a damaged roof, or whatever you would want to convey if you were standing in front of the homeowner. Essentially, what you can do with a playlist is you can tell the exact same message that you're going to tell them in person, or if you're over the phone like we do, with videos as well. Anytime you say something and then show something, you build up that trust. I organize our playlist just like I organize our sales process, which is with a closer framework. All right, and what that is, and I've done videos on this before if you want to get more in depth with it. But let me just type it out real quick. All right. So closer format C is clarify the problem. All right. So that very first video should be clarifying the problem. Hey, you don't think your roof is damaged by hail. Hey, this is what 20-year-old underlayment looks like if you're doing tile. Hey, this is how to know if your flat roof is bad. Hey, this is the average lifespan of TPO. Whatever it is, whatever you're selling, we need to clarify the problem. And particularly one that ideally solves the most common objection, which we don't do a ton of storm work, but in Arizona especially, the number one thing we combat in Arizona and New Mexico is that people don't know, that don't think we get a big enough hail and don't know how the insurance process works. Like if you're in Nebraska, or Texas, you get hail every 3 years. Hail hits, okay, I get a free roof. In Arizona, hail only hits one every 20 years. So when we go talk to somebody that got hit by a hailstorm and say, hey, you're going to be able to get a free roof, just with your deductible, obviously, they're like, oh, that kind of sounds like a scam. So part of our playlist with that is them understand. I have a video where I recorded myself explaining exactly what the insurance process is and why insurance would be looking at covering it if there's significant damage. All right. Now, if you're in a Texas market or Nebraska, or maybe like Florida after a hurricane, we probably don't need to clarify the problem, right? You got hit with 2-inch hail, you got a giant hole in your roof. So what's the problem now? Is that there's all these out-of-town roofers. There's all these, how can I know what contractor to trust? that's the problem. It's like, I know I'm getting a new roof. I'm clear on that, but how do I pick the right roofer? And so you might want to clarify the problem with something from RSRA out of the gate, or I'll show you in this next phase another way you can also clarify the problem as well. But let me run through this, and then I'll get into that next form of media. Next is label the problem. So the best way to label something is with the term sounds like. All right. And so this would be like, sounds like, you know, that you need a new roof, but you're not sure who to pick. Okay, sounds like you met with 4 other roofers and you haven't chosen one. Why didn't you choose one of those to solve this problem, to solve the issue that you're having at hand? All right. And so how we can label the problem depends on where we're at in the stage of it. But most of the time, obviously, if they already know what the issue is, they already know they have a hole in their roof, then we're going to label bad contractors. We're going to label the problem is not choosing the right one that has some staying power, or that is local, or that knows the code, or whatever your local problem you're trying to solve. Next is overviewing the pain. So this video, if we clarify that hail damages the roof, that this overview pain needs to be what happens to a roof that isn't replaced that's damaged by hail. All right. So we need to have some video in there that speaks to what happens from the damage, what that leads to, the increased cost of not replacing your roof, such as bad plywood, and also depending on your market, you may also want to overview the pain of getting dropped by their insurance company if they're sensitive to that. I know Florida's super sensitive. Everybody in Florida's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get dropped. I've been hearing it some in Arizona and New Mexico as well. I know in some of these more storm markets, insurance companies have been doing that. So depending on what that extra pain, you can kind of say, look, you have a bad roof. If you don't replace the roof, here's what happens. All right. So, or hey, there's a 10 out of town storm chasers, fly by night guys. Here's what happens when you choose the wrong roofer. Maybe it's a news story. Maybe it's whatever, multitude of options there. But you want to basically overview and reaffirm that this is your problem. This is what happens if you don't solve your problem the right way. All right. And I heard somebody on mute. Did we have an additional question? Okay, I'll keep rolling. All right, next is going to be sell the dream. Okay, so this is going to be where you're going to sell the dream, which is the dream is working with you. So in this order of videos, it would be a YouTube video if you guys have a company video. If not, this next thing I'll show you is another way you can sell the dream. All right. Next then is going to be explain away objections. So like one of the things that we have built out is an FAQ playlist. So it has all these little micro 30-second videos that, question like where are the guys going to use the bathroom? Do I need a porta potty? How are they going to keep my yard clean each day? How long is it going to take? Blah, blah, blah. All your generic questions you can throw into a playlist as well, or any other objections you might come up with. You can find a video to solve that. All right, and then reinforce the decision. That's why we like to have a final video that's kind of like a hype video of us, or just a thank you video for sitting down with you and taking the time to meet with you, which I'll show you guys right now how we can build these videos. All right. But before I move to the next section, I'm talking about Loom and Company Cam. Any questions on kind of the framework for your video playlist? All right, awesome. So just a quick recap. This is utilizing YouTube playlists to curate an experience that reinforces the experience that you're going to give them yourself. It's going to say the same thing you just said from, you don't have your own videos from somebody else that's also an authority figure. It's also, somebody that then they can say, oh, wow, Cody told me this. And so did this guy on YouTube that, is from GAF or has 10,000 subscribers or whatever. Like both those guys are saying it. Okay, cool. That means it's true. And you can build up trust that way. You can also use this playlist before you go out to the appointment. If you're setting appointments or you have inbound, like for example, us, all our inbound leads, they get a playlist right after the call. We do an intake call. We go, one of our key questions at the end is, hey, you're probably a lot like me. You're probably the type of homeowner likes to do some research before they make a big decision like this, right? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Great. I'm gonna go ahead and send you over a YouTube playlist. If you could at least just watch at minimum the first 3 videos, it's only like 5 minutes, but it is some amazing research, so you'll know exactly what's going on with your roof and exactly the possible solutions to fix it. Sound like a plan? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Great. I'm gonna send it to you right now. And then they will 9 times out of 10 at least watch because they just talked to you. They're all excited, like, oh, I'm gonna get a roof. Yeah, I want to do some research. Hit them with that video real quick, that playlist real quick, and they'll watch 3, 4, 5, maybe the whole playlist. Or I knock on your door. You say, yeah, great. You go ahead. I don't think I have any damage. But you go ahead and hop up there if you want. But I looked at it from the ground. I don't think there's anything up there, but sure, why not? Okay, great. Hey, I completely understand. Just so you're aware, a lot of damage, can't be seen from the ground. But I'll pop up here. I'll do my thing. In the meantime, while I'm up here, can I send you a short YouTube playlist? Just so you can do a little learning on your own, and then we'll talk about it when I come back down. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Shoot them a quick playlist. First video, why you can't spot hail damage from the ground. They watch that, they come down, they go, oh my gosh, I can't spot it. Okay, great, look at my photos. You see this? You do have hail damage. Oh, wow, you were right. Okay, awesome. And now we're signing. All right. Any last questions on the YouTube playlist and how we're utilizing them? Perfect. All right. I can't stress enough how valuable I think these YouTube playlists are. Some of the biggest and best salespeople are using them right now. Alex Ramosi uses them. Like I said, I showed Adam this yesterday, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to start using this tomorrow." It is extremely powerful to curate the experience and curate the research. That's the biggest thing. We don't want these homeowners going on the internet and finding some article from 3 years ago or 5 years ago that says shingles should be 250 a square and come back and expect their roof's going to be $8,000. This allows us to guide them through the journey and build up trust for us and build up confidence for them that they know that they do have a bad roof. All right, cool. All righty. So that's YouTube. Now let's assume that you don't have a ton of YouTube videos yet. All right. And so like we talked about, you can obviously use some of your GAFs, some of your OCs, some of that stuff, and also other things like Roofing Insights or RSRA or other kind of authority figures. You can maybe even find a video from State Farm that talks about why it's important to replace your roof after it's damaged. Something from the insurance company. There's a multitude of ways you can kind of find validating information that doesn't come straight. Awesome. All righty, guys. Well, I'll be diving in a lot more in depth with this at the RSRA event next week. Hope to see everybody there. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to let me know there. I'm going to be doing a lot over, just for those that haven't been on my calls. One thing that makes us unique is we sell every roof 100% over the phone. We did 15 million in our second year with this model, and we've expanded across 8 states. All of my sales reps are in Phoenix, and they're selling roofs in Florida, in New Jersey, all over the phone. We do have on-the-ground inspectors that go out, but our entire sales journey, our entire buying experience is over the phone. So because it's less connected, I've had to be hyper-focused on creating an even more magical sales experience for the homeowner. Because obviously, if you're sitting in the home, you're going to feel a lot more trust and a lot more connection than somebody on the phone, unless we have a series of events that elevate our experience and elevate our trust above that person sitting in a home. So that's a little bit of our background. We've done 15 million the last 15 or more the last 3 years, and we are kind of making a push to go to that next level next year. So we're mostly residential, mostly retail. We do some storm work from time to time, but it's about 80% of our revenue is retail. So that's kind of what our model is and how we've used this media and these type of things to elevate that trust. But even if you're still just a door knocking insurance person and that's your bread and butter, you can still use this same type of logic to elevate yourself over the other door knocking guy or the other person in your market. So it's all relative. But I did want to let you guys know that's what I'll be training on at the RSRA event is how to go virtual, how to modernize, and how to leverage simple media to make it seem like you're a lot more developed than you are as a roofing company. Alrighty, guys, that's all I got for today. Appreciate everybody. I'll talk to everybody soon and see you guys next week.